Board ready?
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Welcome to the Charter Township of Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals special meeting, Monday, November 14th. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And first, let's stand and pay respects to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Secretary, noting the roll.
I noted, there's a quorum.
Thank you. Item 4, approval of tonight's agenda.
Make a motion, we approve as published.
We have approval. Any second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 5, approval of the minutes for the special meeting, October 17th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And item 6, public comments on items not on tonight's agenda. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment at 7:01. Item 7, new business. Tonight we have a case 22 ZBA 003 Gibson, 800 Maloney Avenue, P04-28-376-002. The applicant is proposing an addition to their residential home requiring 5 variances. The 5 variances include requesting a reduced front yard setback of 3 feet rather than 25 feet required. The second, requesting a reduced side yard setback of 3 feet rather than 10 feet that's required. Item 3, requesting a reduced natural feature setback of 23 feet rather than 25 feet required. The fourth item is requesting a reduced side setback for mechanical equipment of 3 feet rather than 5 feet that's required. In item 5, requesting increased lot coverage of 44.3% rather than 35% that's allowed. And we have the applicant here tonight. And why don't you, well, I'll tell you, why don't I first start on how the meeting's going to proceed, okay? First, we'll take a statement from the applicant. 2, we'll have a public hearing. 3, we'll have any questions or comments from the public. Number 4, we'll close the public hearing. And then 5, we'll have building administrator comments. 6, we'll have board member questions and comments. 7, we'll do the findings of fact according to Article 17, Section 17.8, variances, C standards. And then item 8, we'll finally take a motion. And then 9, we'll have a board member discussion and comment. And then 10, we'll finally have a vote. So come on up to the stand, state your name and address, and give us your statement.
Yeah, my name's Scott Gibson. This is my wife Kimberly Gibson, 800 Maloney Avenue. We're asking for the variances for adding an addition to our current home. Current home was built in 1948. Those 5 variances, the setbacks were basically shown on the plan. 2 additional feet towards the water, 3 feet off the northern lot line, and the setbacks that are currently in place. The existing home is primarily completely outside those setbacks as it is now, according to the plan by the architect. The setback for letter D is in regards to mechanical equipment. There's already an AC unit that's sitting there that's within over the setback amount, and that will be remaining. And the other letter E is pretty self-explanatory. So on the application, we stated that currently we do not have a garage. We have to walk outside the home across Maloney Avenue to a parking area. This has been quite the hardship for us for the last 9 years or so, considering the road gets icy and the wind's blowing and traffic coming down the road. So the possibility of something falling. And then also in my application, I do have an elderly mother and a brother in a wheelchair that currently cannot access the home, so we're looking at renovating to make it handicap accessible. That pretty much covers it.
Okay. And we did see a letter here from Kyle Wortman as well. You know, basically saying the same thing that you mentioned today. So,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. And we'll have open public hearing, seeing none. I'll close that. Comments and questions of the public at 7:06. And building administrator comments, item 5. Building administrator's not present. And item 6, board member questions and comments. Do we have any questions or comments from the board to the applicant?
Well, there's a really good comment that was brought up by our consulting planner, and looking at the plan, I kind of caught it myself, is that garage, and, you know, it's, and the way that garage sits on that corner and potentially pulling out.
Right.
I mean, it could potentially be a safety issue, because you get the back of that car all the way out before you can see, because of the way Maloney curves.
Curves, right.
I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah, that check out might.
It's what, 8 feet off of the road, so by the time you get your car out, it's,
You're gonna be into the road.
yeah,
Yeah, and like I said, it's kind of a blind corner.
right. I was over there, yes, if you see me drive by, I wasn't scoping out your house. Yeah, I was scoping out your house, but I wanted to kind of see how things were laid out.
To be honest there.
Yeah, is there any way in your plans to where you could shift your garage more flat up against the actual house itself? I mean, I in looking at the plans, the way they were laid out, I think you have a bathroom and a foyer right there. Is there any way of turning that garage to where that corner doesn't stick so close and give you more room to back out without having, you know, taking the potential of somebody barreling along and just blasting it or something?
Got those pictures, Jim?
Yeah, we did notice that in the comments regarding the situation with the garage. We are trying to utilize the space as efficiently as we can. We're pretty limited
Right.
on the lot, get in the items that we want. That particular powder room and entryway, the powder room is being moved from the existing toilet within the existing structure of the home. We're actually going to be losing that particular bathroom. So, you know, the space
This will be a
is
half-
limited to shift things and have them function, you know, effectively.
Right.
One thing that my wife and I, Kim, thought about on the way here was possibly adding more expansive windows on the walls of the garage so that you can actually look out while you're pulling, both on the north side of the garage and on the south side near the entryway. So, you know, if we push the garage any further into the lot, then we're reducing, obviously, the layout of the plan and reducing space in various areas on the plan. So it's just a thought regarding the windows in the garage.
Okay.
Now, it looks like there's no driveway shown on these plans we received to the garage, right? But you do have an existing asphalt, right?
That is
With a gate?
areas.
Have you ever pulled in and out of this area?
We have, yeah.
Okay, and is it difficult to see the oncoming traffic with no walls there?
No, the traffic is visible. I mean, it's pretty open to the north and to the south, pulling out. So we've never had any issue seen any traffic coming into Mahoney from
Okay.
Lake Street side or vice versa.
Okay. And people are pretty respectful for the speed limit on Maloney since it is pretty tight, right? Or no?
Most people.
Most people, and
People are
some of the younger
respectful.
kids.
It's a little
yeah.
bit, been a little bit more, traffic's been a little bit more increased due to the bridge construction, as you're aware of.
Yeah.
So
Can you come up to the mic? I'm sorry, because
We gotta
the
pick you
people
up
on
the
the
recorder.
audience here wants to know
Yeah, so
too. So,
we, you know, the question that you said with the asphalt area, we do look both ways, and it's not a visual detriment going out of there without
Okay.
the way it is now. Maloney is, people are respectful to the speed limit. There are people that are going faster than they should be down there. I think a lot of it's the anxiety and the tension's high with the neighbors.
Sure.
And bridge construction and all the truck traffic that's going down there, so, you know, people get a little uptight with having to wait or whatnot, but for the most part, people are pretty good about keeping the speed low.
okay, and I see there is a tree in your neighbor's yard here too. Is there any landscaping that would block that, other than that tree, block your field of
No,
vision?
that's the only tree that's there, that's on this property.
Okay,
I've talked to that neighbor personally a couple times about what we're looking at doing. We're in good terms with them, and they don't foresee putting any additional shrubbery or anything to block the view, so,
okay.
Have you guys been in front of us before?
have not.
Okay. We've done a few on
Yeah.
Maloney. I was just wondering, it seems similar, but just had to ask the question.
It's an unusual street, that's for sure.
Your neighbor's okay with the houses and the garage and stuff so tight to the property line?
Yeah, I actually talked to him again today, when I got home from work, and let him know that we're coming before the board today, and that we were looking at doing the variance up to 3 feet of the lot line, and he was fine with that. He didn't have any concerns or anything that he expressed to me, so. Front of his house is approximately 13 and a half feet, that front corner on our north side.
Yeah.
So it's, with the 3 feet variance, you know, you're talking almost 17 feet from our house to his house with that.
Do we have any information on the neighbor and how close they are to the property line at all? I'm looking at it more on, I didn't see a 17.2.
Yeah, with the
Okay.
addition.
Okay, so you're 17.2 from the proposed addition to the neighbor's home. That's what it says on the plan.
So that would be
Okay.
14 feet to the neighbors,
Okay.
if I'm reading that
From
right.
the lot line?
Yeah, from the lot line.
I'm looking at it
Yeah,
as,
from there. So that addition would be 14 feet. So that fence line's pretty
that
close.
fence line? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plans here show 17.2 from this corner to this corner.
Okay, I got it.
So it's roughly 14 feet. A little less than 14.
I'm looking at it for first responder type access. I didn't see anything in our packet from the Oxford Township.
Okay.
So I didn't know if they had any concerns or if they made you aware of any concerns or any of that. I don't see anything here.
Fire and rescue, you mean?
Yeah.
No, they have not.
That usually comes through on the
Building.
planning commission.
From the planning commission?
Yeah, they send it to the fire chief to
Okay.
get
So we don't get comments on that?
Yeah, because we didn't get any comments on it, so. Okay. Any other comments, questions?
Just, I'm still concerned about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the ideas of the windows, but that's good during the day, but at nighttime, it's a different story.
And that's a well on a covered porch.
Yeah, there's an existing well that's gonna be where the front porch is.
Yeah.
Any concern with footings being
access.
poured so close to that?
it looks like the well's like near the porch area or under the porch. Is that the existing well that?
That is the existing well, yes.
Is it gonna be covered by the porch?
It'll be covered by the porch. The porch will be a composite decking with a latch hood on it, be removed in case it needs to be serviced. I had that well serviced 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I replaced the filter and the lining in the well, so that was completely redone just recently.
How often do you have to service that well?
That was the only time I ever serviced it since I've lived there.
Okay, and you think it's the original since 1948?
It's the original
Okay.
well. No more further drilling need to be done. They just replaced the filter and the innards and the pump in the well and replaced the pump and the tank within the existing structure. So everything was completely redone.
You're not on a septic out there, are you?
No, city sewer.
Okay.
And the generator, the equipment, the AC unit, you're at 3 foot now, but, and that's remaining? Is that
Well,
with the new future generator?
Well, that AC unit at some point is going to get replaced because that one's about 31 years old.
Okay,
So the front, the south road corner of the house there is about 6.5 feet, and then it angles to about 7.5 feet towards the lake. So that existing AC unit is probably 3 feet off of the house at about a 7 foot width right now. So right now it's going about a foot into that 5 foot setback.
The generator, are you looking at what, Generac or somebody like that?
Yeah, it'll be a whole house generator.
Right. I know they have to sit out so far away from the house in order to be installed.
Right.
It angles.
now this proposed addition, are there alternatives to the proposal, or is, I mean, why did you choose this square footage? Why did we, first of all, right, so there's one question, and then the second question is the footprint, right? Why aren't we moved back farther, maybe to the water area, or in a different location? Can you maybe expand upon that?
Yeah, we decided on this footprint because the elements we wanted in the addition, obviously it's going to be a first floor addition for, ADA handicap accessible. Widening the bedroom, bathroom, a closet, and moving that powder room over with the entry, and a high priority of having at least a garage instead of parking outside year-round in the elements. So the stepping of the footprint along the lot line was to maximize as much area as we could. And then 2 feet towards the water, we were looking at reducing the bedroom to be within that 25 feet from the water, but it was ended up being a little bit tight. Like I said, the area and the square footage area that we had to use, that we were able to use to get these elements in was pretty restrictive. So we ended up moving that west wall towards the water again, back the 2 foot into the 25 foot setback. So that's kind of how we came up with the plan.
And ideally, you want a first floor, not going up higher in your house, right, for the ADA.
Yes, and as we get older, I mean, we don't plan on moving from this home, so, we have our bedroom upstairs with the other spare bedroom, and not having to do stairs or anything like that when we get into our elderly years, to be on the first floor. So.
Is there any thought to reduce the primary bedroom or any of the bath in size as a reduced variance.
The reduced variance so that the whole plan shifts out of the 25-foot variance towards the water.
Yeah, and in any one of the 5 areas that we're looking at.
You know, in regards to the variance of the 25-foot setback for the water level, it was noted by the gentleman in the report that my neighbor's house that we're talking about to the north is 15 feet from the water.
How many feet?
15.
15, okay.
So I didn't think that 23 would be too bad of a dimension.
Okay. So are you saying if you move that back to 15 feet, this whole thing would shift, right? You'd have maybe a better approach to your garage, turning radius, and better entry and exit to the road? That's where I'm trying to go with this, if there's any reduction than what you're asking for.
Let me see if I'm hearing you correctly. So you're talking about shifting the bedroom back to get within the 25-foot setback for the water?
No, I'm saying if you took your footprint,
Right.
is there any other proposals to change that footprint, not only in the square footage, but the footprint itself, maybe moving it on your property? Or is there some other restrictions that we should know about?
There isn't any other restrictions. I mean, if we moved anything on the actual footprint that's indicated here, we'd have to go closer to the water.
Right.
And that would then free up space for parking, possibly in front of the garage, or reducing that particular issue of traffic going by to be able to view them. So we were trying to keep the footprint the way it is presented to you because of the visibility from the existing home out towards the water.
Okay.
You know, the farther you push it forward, the more obstruction you're going to have from the existing front porch area to
Oh,
look that particular direction.
I see.
Even though it's all windows anyway that are going to be redone, so.
And is there something restricting you from moving, actually, from your existing and expanding upon that back towards the, I guess would be the south? Because I don't see any other plan
We
there.
didn't consider that because the house was built in 1948. We like the character of the house, being a craftsman style. Our architect is very aware of that and is conscious and has done other homes in that era. I didn't want to have an addition put on a house that looks like a cookie cutter but to have it blend into the period of the home. So adding on to that enclosed front porch would take away from the character of the period of the home. So.
Still have issue with the 3 feet off the road. That's a big concern for me anyway, personally. There's the safety aspects of it. And it's real tight kind of in there anyway with that road. You got water on one side, so there's not, if somebody swerves off, they won't go in necessarily a ditch if he's backing out. And it's icy, they can't see him or something. I just concerned about somebody getting hurt there.
Yeah, so am I. I'm just concerned about someone backing out of there and someone driving down the road.
Now, your existing garage that's across the street, will that be in line with the garage, this proposed garage? Like directly north and
That's not
south?
a garage across the street, that's a shed.
Oh, it's a shed? So you don't park in that garage?
No, that's
Okay.
where my lawn equipment are.
Okay, okay. So you're parking basically out in the elements?
Yeah.
All year long, okay.
And you could kind of partially cover it, right? I'm not sure it'd do any good.
Yeah, I mean, that's an idea too, right? If you had like a carport or a temporary carport there. Is that something that you've,
We have thought about that in the past. I don't know if you've ever been out on Maloney and
Oh, yeah.
end of January, February.
Oh, yeah.
Going
It's
through
pretty
that.
windy.
So, you know, that's something that did cross our minds as opposed to having an enclosed garage the way it is. Thought with the garage is that be able to pull in,
Okay.
and as you can see, the door from the garage to the foyer directly, so you're not in the elements.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can appreciate that. I just, we're just struggling with safety issue.
There's really no way in the design that they can shift your garage back even a few feet. I mean,
Yeah, if you shift the garage back, north into the walk-in closet, you know, to keep that line on the 3-foot setback of the north property line, then it's moving the garage to the left where the powder room is and the entry and everything, so you're kind of sliding and losing elements of the design in different areas. I mean, I understand your concern regarding the 3-foot on the road. There are a lot of houses down there that are closer than 3 foot to the road. Not saying that that's right or wrong, it's just, you know, the constrictions and confines of that particular street.
Has there been any thought to attach that garage to the house instead of having the covered porch and foyer and powder room and placing that on the other side? Give you a little more room?
There hasn't been any thought to do that, to butt it up against the existing home
Okay.
or structure. I don't know what that would look out like on reworking the plan. I mean, having an entry or a powder room on the north side along the lot line doesn't really make sense with actually going into the existing home.
But if you didn't have the wet bar, you could move the powder room and the foyer up to where the wet bar is. But there's still a well for it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're looking at square footage and, you know, obviously the
Yeah.
requirements of the township and variance, you know, so we're
Sure.
trying to figure out, you know, if there's any other alternatives to this footprint, right? What's inside the footprint, okay, but we're looking at the dimensions on it.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, and what Tim just mentioned, I mean, we could look at sliding the garage towards the lake into the walk-in closet, reducing the walk-in closet size, you know, accurately keeping that 3-foot setback on the north property line. The garage is gonna shift a little bit to the left, and it could still be feasible to have that powder room with the toilet there. I mean, you'd basically be losing probably that little nook, and it will reduce the foyer slightly, which is really not a big issue. So that is a possibility to, you know, move it a couple of feet into the walk-in closet without drastically changing, you know, the elements of the design.
That would make your door more parallel with the road also, your garage entry door. That would actually kick that corner back away from the road more by doing something like that.
Yeah, the front right corner of the
Right.
garage,
Yeah,
that would influence it would from the back. away from the-
yeah, exactly. And it'd make it more parallel with the road.
So are you saying the request for the variance for the front yard setback on the east side of the property would go from 3, and you're saying you would be willing to take 5 feet? If is that what you're
Push it
saying?
back 2 feet.
Is that, yeah, I don't want to speak for you,
Yeah, I think
but,
so, and I think in regards to your comment, Norris, I don't think we were looking at taking the garage and making it perpendicular to the road. It would just slide in the position that it is and move somewhat to the left in the powder room and the foyer, and then obviously you pick up 2 feet to go into the walk-in closet, so it's just shifting it like that.
Probably you'll put more towards the lake on the other side too.
You know, what Kim was mentioning also is that wanted to try to keep the design elements and everything the way it is. Then it would also, you know, you could actually shift the whole plan towards the lake, that additional 2 feet as well, to try to gain some space for that garage. The whole plan would shift 2 more feet in towards the water.
What about having it follow the property line? I know it'd be a little bit of an angle to the existing house, but then it could go back towards the lake. The garage would move back. I mean, you'd have 8 or 9 feet from the edge of the garage to the street.
Just making the wall parallel with the property line.
Correct.
Looking at that particular option, if you made everything parallel with the property line, the house currently sits skewed on the lot. So the existing exterior wall of the existing home, where the double doors are on the porch, and the entry into the hallway and everything, you're talking about now a pie type of layout.
Wedge.
A
Okay.
wedge.
Yeah.
Right. That's why the plan is the way it is and having it step back.
If you move that whole proposed addition back a couple feet, you would be taking away from some of the view from your enclosed porch,
Yeah,
right?
we've been back and forth, my
Yeah.
wife and I, a lot regarding that.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Limiting the view and that, and then how far do we want to go up towards the water, and it's going to restrict the view more, so that's why we kind of
Sure.
came to a medium where it's at right now, so. We're not opposed to looking at pushing out back 2 feet and gaining that space for the garage and making those adjustments I said before.
Because I think every foot does matter,
It does.
Yeah,
Especially on Maloney,
especially,
right?
yeah, especially just that safety concern.
yeah, as tight
In
as
my
it is
mind.
over there.
I mean, if you can do that,
As tight as
it
it is.
feels better to
in
me.
that area.
We all know these areas are challenging. Every one through here we've seen over the years, it's always been challenging.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd be pulling into the garage anyway. I'd be
More backing.
backing in, so
Yeah.
you got that view.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Any other comments, questions?
Shifting back, if they decided to shift back, that would also leave access to the well then. That would open up the well more unless they kept the porch just. They shifted the footprint back.
Yeah, it
The
looks
well
like the
would-
covered porch is 3'6" wide by, 9, or the depth, and then it's 9'1" wide, right? So if you went back 2 feet,
They would put it just about right on the edge.
you may be in the stair area, right?
Yeah, bummer if it is. But, well, not really.
Or they keep that porch where it is and just extend the porch. I mean,
Just add a little.
it'd be a 5'6".
instead of
depth,
the
right?
3'6" depth on it.
Now you're into that
increase.
3 feet.
Yeah, you'd increase that setback.
But you are on the side of the garage, but not on the road. You
You
save
showed
the
everything that way, you're
space on the
encroaching on that
road.
3 foot.
So,
Well, the challenge we're gonna have, obviously, is knowing what the dimensions are. If we're inclined to have them revise this, we're gonna need to know what those dimensions are gonna be.
Right.
I
Exactly.
don't know if we can give
Could we-
direction that'll be clear.
Could we do it with just a change A in the motion to 5 foot instead of 3 foot?
So make that setback along Maloney 5 feet
5 feet.
in lieu of,
You mean to shift everything back?
Yeah, well, because that's what he's talking about doing. He's talking about taking a couple of feet out of the walk-in closet and shortening that part up so that the garage moves back.
Well,
But
wouldn't
every
the,
time you move something back, you're gonna be into that 3 feet. So if you're gonna change A to 5 feet, you're gonna
Oh,
have to
yeah.
The
reduce
side
B
setback?
to.
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, we're not gonna know what that is until you lay it out.
Yeah.
It's the ripple effect.
This is a tough one.
Oh, we are meeting in December. I'm told.
Would it change that side though?
yeah, the side setback right now is,
Property is angled. I guess you'd have to like.
Oh, yeah, it
have
is
to
angled.
measure
Look
it,
at that.
but
It would actually give you less of a setback right there because you have more, because the property's angled out here.
But are
If you
you,
brought this up 2 feet.
this line is gonna
Can you
continue.
do us a favor, if you'd be so kind?
Yep.
You mind sketching that?
Sketching the 2-foot.
Yeah, show us how you would move that garage, unless you've got it already sketched out. Just for our own edification.
Sketched out at home.
Putting you on the spot, sorry.
That's right. I was in architecture for 10 years, so my architect likes that. But so if you increase that to 5 foot, we've done this over and over again, Mr. Butler, is that if you just basically take the garage element and take that box and just keep that 3-foot setback, you're basically
In alignment with that.
you're basically gonna go
Okay.
somewhere into here,
Okay.
which is not a whole lot of distance
All right, so that's not changing that.
off of that. So you're gonna take that, and it's gonna take some out of. It's gonna take some out of this little powder room and the foyer, without affecting really any of this.
And knowing,
okay.
and that will not affect the side,
It will
right?
not set the 3-foot side
Okay.
setback as
Okay.
well.
Okay,
I mean, if we did do that, just for my architect's purposes, if we, right now, we're going 2 foot into the 25-foot for the water.
yeah, natural
Okay.
features.
If we could take the variance to 21, just in case we need to, when she redoes this plan, if it pushes everything functionally, just to have that little cushion there,
Okay,
From the 23.
from the 23 to the
down to
21. Yeah. You know, it's gonna,
all the natural
if you
features
move
of
it
that.
that way, everything gets shifted
Yep.
slightly this way.
Yeah, because that's 3-2 now, right?
So it's not gonna be as square, it'll be more rectangular.
we'd still be within the
keep
3,
that.
right?
We still be within the 3. yes.
Okay,
And the 3-foot's here.
The 3 foot is here.
there
yes.
and there.
And
Okay,
the
so
3 foot
along,
is here.
So
so along
that
that.
side setback's
yeah,
gonna,
so along the east side, it's a 3-foot setback. Along the north side, it's a 21-foot setback. Thank you.
okay.
Appreciate that. Want to make sure we're talking turkey. You got that architectural rating.
What's that?
You do have that architectural rating, don't you?
Yeah, good first grade teacher.
So just to be clear, that, item A there, the front yard setback, the applicant's willing to go from 3 feet to 5 feet rather than to 25 as a variance, right? Reduced from 3 feet to 5 feet rather than to 25 feet required. And then item C, reduce the
Reduce it to 21.
natural feature setback from 23 to 21,
Right,
right? Rather than the 25 feet required,
right.
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
you're correct.
I mean, he's willing to take a reduced variance. Just thank you for that. The percentage is gonna remain the same, mechanical 3 feet's the same, and
Yes.
side yard setback the same. So the applicant's willing to do that.
I'm good with that.
I'm more comfortable with that, to be honest with you.
Question, will the percentage of the footprint be smaller too, because they lose some on the powder room and the other? So will that reduce the footprint at all?
Well, I think he's
Maybe
As far as the percentage
maybe
overall?
a percentage here or there.
Okay, maybe 1 or 2%
Yeah.
about it, okay.
Yeah, there'd be a very small reduction of the square footage.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. I'm not concerned with that.
Items you've mentioned.
Any other comments, questions from the board?
I have done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for explaining and
Thank you.
answering all our questions. Item 7, findings of fact, Article 17, Section 17.8 variances, C standards. We'll go through those right now. Number 1, strict compliance with restrictions governing area, setback, frontage, height, bulk, density, or other non-use matters will unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property for permitted purpose or will render ordinance conformity unnecessary burdensome.
I think it does apply. I mean, if you look at the required setbacks on these properties, being the 25-foot front yard, the 10 side yards, the 20-foot rear yard, and then add on the 25-foot rear natural features. I mean, you really, if you look at A1-1, I mean, you really don't have much of a buildable area to do anything with. And the house currently doesn't conform with what our current standards are. So I think it does apply.
I agree.
You agree?
Yep.
All right. Item 2, the variance will do substantial justice to the applicant as well as other property owners.
Well, the property owner, but not other property owners.
So that does apply.
I agree.
Yeah.
Item 3, a lesser variance than requested will not give substantial relief to the applicant. It will not be more consistent with justice to other property owners.
I think we took care of
I
that.
think we've discussed
I
that.
think we did, right? So
Well,
that
we
applies,
gave a
right?
lesser and got greater.
The need for the variance is due to the unique circumstances peculiar to the property and not generally applicable in the area or to other properties in the same zoning district.
Well, the parcel is unique, and I think because of the setbacks that are on the parcel, you know, the close proximity of the road, you know, it is applicable in the area, because most of those homes were built when the ordinance was different, and
They
we've
were
dealt
all
with this
cabins
year after year.
originally,
Yeah.
weren't they?
So
So,
there wasn't. an
All cabins originally?
Yeah.
Like little cabins,
Yeah.
and everybody's just expanded from there.
And lastly, the problem and resulting need for the variance has not been self-created by the applicant or the applicant predecessors.
Agree with that.
You agree?
Right.
It applies?
yes.
Item 8, I'll entertain a motion.
Right?
All right. I move with regard to 22-ZBA-003 Gibson, 800 Maloney Avenue, P0428376002, based on the finding of facts listed above, to approve the following variances. A reduced front yard setback of 5 feet rather than the 25 feet required. B, a reduced side yard setback of 3 feet rather than the 10 feet required. C, a reduced natural feature setback of 21 feet rather than the 25 feet required. D, a reduced side yard setback for mechanical equipment of 3 feet rather than the 5 feet required. E, increased lot coverage of 44.3% rather than the 35% allowed. This is based on the public hearing and discussion within the finding of facts listed above.
Second?
We have a motion and a second.
I'll second.
We have second by Jim already.
Yep.
Ready for the vote?
Yep, let's do a roll call for vote.
Butler,
Yes.
Hagley,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes,
and Kane, yes. Motion carries.
the motion carried. You got your variance. Very nice, sir. Thank you. And thank you for coming in. Okay, item 8, board member comments.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, thank you.
Watch the Lions play and, huh?
They're on a winning streak.
I know,
Are.
2 in a
In a
row.
row.
Uh,
Just once.
It hasn't happened
Before
in a
I
while.
die, I wanna see them win something.
Yeah,
Actually, if they can just get to the Super Bowl, win it or not, just get to it before I die, I'll be happy. Other than that, it doesn't matter.
Being one that was never a Stafford fan, I'm glad to see that they have the same record as the Rams.
Yes.
oh yeah, yeah.
And you're praying for them. not to
Although
blame
Stafford, when he left, the first year he left, man, he took him right to the
Oh
Super
yeah,
Bowl.
yeah.
He didn't. The team
Well, yeah,
that they
he
built
did,
around
but-
him did.
Still, it figures that's usually what happens. If we lose people, they go to Super Bowl winning teams.
And a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Got a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?